Have you ever bought something that just didn't work? Well, I certainly have. In fact, what if I told you that buying ineffective materials for your classroom was a lot like buying a bucket with holes in it and a broken shovel to build a sandcastle? What do you mean? You see, when you buy a broken shovel to dig up dirt for your sandcastle, you're not able to dig dirt as effectively. Same with a bucket. If you buy a bucket with holes in it, you're not able to hold as much dirt to build that sandcastle. Well, the same goes for your classroom. When you make purchases that are complete flops, you are using broken or ineffective tools like a broken shovel or bucket to teach with. So you might be wondering, Helena, how do I know what to buy and not to buy? Well, don't worry, because that's what we're going to cover in today's video. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 5 second grade flops that I will never live down. I learned the hard way, so you don't have to. In the meantime, if you want to learn what you should be buying, check out this video here where I share with you the top 7 second grade classroom must-haves. Let's get started. Before we dive into today's video, I did want to let you know that I did the top kindergarten classroom flops earlier, so make sure to check out that video. I'm not going to mention those items in this video, so if you're wanting more items to avoid purchasing for your classroom, make sure to check that out too, because I definitely applied the same lessons to my second grade classroom. So the first second grade classroom flop I have is actually a treasure box. See, inside my treasure box, I got this cute one for my travel themed when I was doing a travel themed classroom, and I would fill it with all sorts of prizes from Dollar Store, Target, Dollar Center, you name it. But here's the thing, about 2 or 3 months in, I stopped using it because I wanted to find other ways to get my kids to do what I was expecting of them without having it to be a materialistic thing. That's why I personally use the Super Improver wall, which I'm happy to share with you in a later video. But see, while a treasure chest might be fun, there's other ways to get your kids to do what is expected of them without bribing them with a prize at the end of the week. I personally try to have more intrinsic motivations than a treasure box at the end. Now, I'm not saying if you use it that's bad, it just wasn't for me. So that's the first second grade classroom flop I have. The next second grade classroom flop I purchased that I really regret purchasing is this rug. Now, don't get me wrong, I really wanted a place for my students to gather around when we were having a meeting or when I was teaching a whole group lesson where they could be comfortable and they could enjoy themselves. I really loved when I bought this rug how it had the fuzzy fibers in the rug. That way I thought my kids would enjoy laying on it, and it would be a great thing for us to read and enjoy circle time at. Plus, it was way cheaper than most classroom rugs. But the problem was, as soon as I vacuumed it, it started getting holey, or it just started picking up the fibers and it looked very patchy. Honestly, after a year, I had to throw it away. So it might look comfy, and yes, it might make your classroom feel homey. Just be warned, it may not be the best purchase, or definitely don't vacuum it if you're going to buy one. As I mentioned before, I had a travel-themed classroom, so in order to earn the treasure box I talked about earlier, I actually ended up getting my kids these. I got them fake passports, and what I did is every time that they were doing something positive or I caught them going above and beyond, I would give them a sticker. And inside their passport, I would collect the stickers, or I would count them up or have them counted up, and each sticker was worth $1, and then they could go shopping inside the treasure box, mystery treasure box, or I actually eventually had a whole store. Big mistake. These worked okay, but they were not the best. In fact, my kids often lost these, and they would pick them up thinking they were theirs and they was actually another friend's. It was a mess. What I use now is much better. I use the Super Improver wall that helps kids feel internally motivated and proud of themselves when they accomplish something. I find that more rewarding than earning stickers to then go get a treasure box or a prize. The next second grade classroom flop was a teacher bag. Now, you've probably seen a lot of teachers use these, and while they're cute, I found that they were kind of expensive and they were kind of honestly a waste of money. So instead, I eventually just purchased this, a regular old backpack. What I love about this is I was able to put my gym clothes in it in the morning before I went to work. I also can use it to travel with. In fact, there it is. I have my Harry Potter passport thing on it from when I got engaged at Universal in Harry Potter World. But just a regular old backpack for traveling or for a teacher bag works perfectly fine. And in fact, I found more uses of that than an actual teacher bag. So this might be my personal opinion, but the next second grade classroom flop that I had were actually clip charts. So I talked about this earlier. I've used a variety of classroom management, behavior management tools, and everyone has their own opinion to this. Mine personally, I will never use these again. I got one from TBT, I've made my own, and it just was not worth it. What would happen, or if you're not familiar with these, is everyone starts off on a color. If your students are doing well, they clip up. If they made a bad choice, they clip down, so on, and then keep going down. And eventually it's whatever your steps are, call home, referral, whatever your classroom management system is. But what I would find is when I had one of my students clip down with these, they would immediately shut down, and then they'd be so focused on the bad choice and being close down into the bad colors that they wouldn't be able to feel confident in themselves and to learn from that lesson. They were so caught up on the clip chart, and that was not why I made it. So I personally don't use a clip chart. I'm not going to buy one again because honestly, like I said, I found stuff that works way better. And so I don't recommend purchasing a clip chart. There's other ways to go about that. This one's kind of a bonus, and that is buying classroom decor before you've set up your classroom. Hear me out for a second. I know as good as anyone, when you get your new classroom, you are so excited that you're scrolling through Pinterest, you're making wish lists on Amazon, and you start getting Amazon packages arriving at your door, and you have to hide them from your husband because you spent a lot of money. Beside the point, please do not buy a bunch of decor before you set up your classroom. Here's why. What'll happen, most likely happen, is you're gonna buy all this decor stuff, and then you're gonna go set up your classroom and then try to put up your decor and realize there's like no room for it. So before you set up your decor or purchase all this decor, set up your areas first and then go look at what extra wall space you have and then start purchasing and creating and buying decor. Don't do it the other way around, because you might be buying stuff that you're not going to be able to use because you don't have enough wall space or it just isn't feasible in your classroom. It'll save you money and it'll save you time in the long run. Trust me. And those are the second grade classroom flops. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And then also, before you go, if you are a new primary teacher, I highly recommend you check out this Ultimate Primary Teacher Guide, where I walk you through everything to set up your classroom, as well as the top 10 questions I get about starting as a primary teacher. And if you are wanting to figure out what items you should be buying for your second grade classroom, definitely go check out this video right here where I share the top 7 things you should be purchasing for your second grade classroom. I'll see you later, teacher bestie. Bye.